every day last week, I woke up with this incredible excitement for life. Like I would wake up and I would just be in a good mood because I had so many things planned that just lit up my soul that I was excited to go do. Some of it was outside of my comfort zone, but I was just in this like rhythm of just going for it. But today, I didn't wake up that way. And I used to think that, okay, well, then I'm just going to go about my day in this mood that I woke up in today. But over the last years, I've really realized how I am able and capable of switching that around and getting myself into that excited state for the day. So I did that this morning, and I wanted to share with you. I think there's like maybe 7 or 8 different things that I will do depending on my mood to get into this really excited state, regardless of where I'm at in life, how little exciting stuff I have going on, but switching my mindset around so that I make myself get into that really excited state. And I wanted to share it with you because it's so useful, because I woke up feeling like a little meh, but after doing a few of these things that I'm going to share with you today, I'm feeling like just as excited about my day today and the things I have coming up as I did last week. And so maybe there's one thing in here that you haven't tried before that maybe you want to give a shot next time you wake up and feeling like you wish you were a little bit more excited for the day. If you are watching on video, I just want to share that my hair is like the most messy it has been, and I did not brush it for you. I hope that's okay. It's still really early in the morning. I just wanted to get this out there because sometimes I feel like when you have the excitement to share something, you need to do it right away, because otherwise you lose maybe the motivation to do it, or you can tend to procrastinate it for a long time. So I really, over the last little while, am trying to live by the motto. I don't know if you call that a motto, but like when I get the urge to do something, I do it right away, because the longer we wait, the less of a chance there is that we're actually going to do it. I've shared that on the podcast before, but I don't think we can get enough reminders of that, because I think we're getting these little ideas, these little signs to go do things all day long, and it's up to us whether or not we do it right away. And I mean, I think we can all relate to having had this really great idea, but then days passed, weeks passed, and then suddenly the excitement of doing it just kind of got lost and we kept moving on with our life. So I would encourage anyone to join me in, like, when we get an idea to share something, to do something, to take action on something, to just do it, regardless of the fear that we maybe have or the laziness that we maybe feel, towards like just doing it. Because the thought is always so much worse than the actual action of it, right? Like I shared on my story last week, like how I had gotten a new camera and I had just like unpacked it and left all the mess out on the floor in my office podcast studio. And for a full week, it was just laying there. And then the day I was like, I need to just like clean this up. It took me 5 minutes. Why did I procrastinate that for a full week? You know, it makes no sense. The thought was so much worse than actually cleaning it up. But I'm getting sidetracked here because we're going to chat about how you can turn your day around, how you can get into a good feeling flow of energy if you're not feeling it right when you wake up. Before I jumped on here, I just wrote down some notes so that I remember all 8 of them. I can see there's 8 that I put down. Okay, so usually when I don't feel excited or as joyful, it's because I don't actually have something I'm working towards. I don't have a clear goal that I am excited about. So that's my number one tip, is like, if you wake up and you don't feel super excited, it's most likely because you don't have a clear goal that you're working towards right now. And I think that is like the number one thing that we always got to do. Even if I have a goal, like I know what I'm working towards, like I need to like really remind myself of, okay, why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? Why is this exciting to me? Like, what is the real reason that I'm so excited about doing this? And like really like digging into these emotions that I want to feel from doing this goal, from achieving this goal. And like I have talked about a lot, it's not actually the achieving of the goal that's going to bring us happiness, but it's the working towards the goal that is bringing us happiness. Because when we wake up and we have like this clear goal in mind that is like super exciting to us, then life just gets more exciting, for me at least. my main value is growth. So I just always feel better when I am in the midst of working towards a goal, because that means I'm growing. And I know that I repeat myself a lot on this podcast. I say things again and again, but I guess it's because these are my thoughts and I often need reminders of these things myself. So maybe unless you're like really getting tired of me saying some of the same things, then I'm going to keep saying them. Okay, the second one is one I did this morning, and it's something I've also chatted about before, but that is like write down what your dream future life looks like. And this morning I did it in a little bit of a different way, because I feel like right now I'm in this like state of like creating and working towards my goal with a little bit of a nothing externally is really happening, but I feel like I am on the right path. Like I feel like I'm creating from the right space and just trusting that the work I do is making an impact, is moving forward, is progressing. And so I wrote down, instead of like, what's my dream life going to look like in a year from now, which is something I often do, which is something you can do as well. It really lifts us up if we just like get rid of all of our limitations and just write down all the things that would be awesome if we had in a year. And this morning, what I did instead was I wrote down, what would my dream November look like? Where I'm in the middle of October right now. And I wrote like, what would I like for my November to look like? And that got me really excited. And also what it did was it opened up my eyes as to what I needed to do today to get to that place, to be there in November. And that led me to get some creative ideas that I'm going to take into action today and for the rest of the week. It made me plan out my week in a different way than I originally had thought my week was going to go, because I was like, okay, if this is where I want to be in November, these new projects is what I got to work on this week to get to that place in November. And that just got me excited. It got me into that place again that I was in last week, where I was like, really excited when I woke up. So it kind of goes back to this like first one of making sure you have a clear goal, because I have the clear goal, like the big vision for my future, the impact I want to make in the world. But having these like smaller goals, if that feels too big, I think is really exciting and powerful. So yeah, maybe you can use that. The third thing that I think is very beautiful to get us into a good feeling state is something I also shared on my Instagram last week. It's like really sitting down with your journal and asking yourself, when in my life was I the happiest? And looking at what were the habits? What were my routines? What was I eating? How was I training? How was my social life, my family life, my financial situation? Like figuring out, okay, when in my life was I happiest? And then looking at what was your life like the whole structure of your life, and which of these structures brought you a lot of joy during this time in your life. And seeing, okay, if that brought me joy at that time in my life, then how can I incorporate it into my life today? What could I do to bring some of those things back that brought me joy? Because it's very likely that if they brought you joy in that time in your life, then they're going to bring you joy again. And often, we're lazy. Our brain is naturally lazy. So we're not going to want to do it again, because like getting into a routine of, it's just an example, working out, because we can all relate to that, is like not always fun. It's not something that we necessarily want to do, but once we're in it, once we get to that workout, once we get into the routine, first of all, it gets easier. Secondly, it just brings us joy every day, right? To have that routine in place. And I think with anything else, like if you're like really focused on just working, I'm talking to myself right now, then like it'll feel really good to you if you prioritize like seeing your friends a little bit more. And then like making that change is powerful. I actually have the last few months, this is a topic for another episode, but like I have talked about on the podcast how I really wanted to develop a social life and create more friendships with like-minded individuals, or like people who are doing the same thing as me. And over the last 2 months, it's really developed. And in a way that I'm just so grateful, because I've made so many new connections and friendships from getting out of my comfort zone. Like that initial like, oh, this is scary going to these summits by myself. It's scary to reach out to this person, and it's scary to do this and this and this. But from doing that scary thing, like things have really taken off in my social life, or like just building more of friendships, and which has led to also just like doing podcasts together with different people. I've been on like 4 different people's podcasts last week, and there's more this week, like having deep conversations with them there and meeting up with people in person as well. So yeah, if you can think of the things that you had at one point in your life that brought you so much joy, bringing them back and like reminding yourself that you got one life. So it's worth that initial like pushing yourself to do it. The 4th one is also one I've talked about here before, and I actually recently uploaded a YouTube video on it, but it's such a powerful question. What would I do today if I had no fear? You will realize the things that are holding you back just because you're fearful, just because you're scared of maybe people's judgment, of what will happen if you fail, of like all these things. Maybe it's laziness. Like I can definitely relate to the laziness. That's something I've always had in me. And just if you wake up and you ask yourself that question every day, like I think when you become aware of what is actually holding you back and you see the fear for what it is, you'll realize, that may be actually a little silly. Because if I want to get to this next level of my life, then that fear is like silly. Like, let me just do it anyway. And once you do it anyway, then you're evolving, then you're in progress, and you're growing, and that will just bring you that excitement for life. At least I really believe that. Actually, I'm not just going to say I think so, because I think I'm right. I think that we all are going to feel good if we do the things that we're fearful of. Don't do anything where your life's at risk, though. Like, that's important, obviously. But yeah, powerful question. What would I do today if I had no fear? Powerful. The 5th one is one that we all know, but we may be forgetting, is gratitude. If we just, every morning when we wake up, if we're feeling a little meh, ask yourself, what am I grateful for today? And it may just be your morning coffee. It may be that you're breathing. It may just be the fact that you got to live another day. Like, whatever it is that is feeling like something you could find gratitude for. Like the fact that we're living right now is so incredible, isn't it? If you're listening to this, you got to get another day. That is something to be grateful for. Maybe it's your parents, your friends, your work, the fact that you went on a hike yesterday, like just little things. It doesn't have to be massive. But you can also think back to times in your life where you were like really grateful and recreate that gratitude for those moments that you were grateful for. Gratitude, they all say it's the most powerful emotion, and I would agree. It can be hard to sometimes dig into it, but when we do, it is powerful. Number 6 is if you wake up feeling a little meh, or you have just been feeling a little meh for a while, and maybe you've been scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, whatever, and you see people that you find inspiring, that you feel, oh my gosh, if I could just live a life like that, that would be so cool. Take a look at what is it actually in their life that you feel is inspiring, that you feel is exciting. What is the quality that they have that you really would like as well? And figure out, what would it take for you to get there? What if you were to step inside of their shoes today and live with that confidence, or live as if you had created that as well? Or what would it take for you to develop that skill that they have created in their life? Like, really find inspiration in others. I think something I have also spoken about before, I've spoken about all of this before, but we all need reminders, like I said, is that we can really use social media in whatever way we want. A lot of people talk negatively about social media, but if we decide to use it as an inspiration, to use it as something that motivates us to get outside of our norm and do new things, then social media is a beautiful, powerful place. Like, if there was not social media, I wouldn't be the person I am. I feel like I find so much value every day. Like, the accounts that I follow that are inspirational, motivational, like, they really help me better myself. And if we use social media in that way, it's powerful. So if you feel meh and you're looking at all these other people, maybe even comparing yourself, what is it that you see within them that you really would like in your own life as well? And then it's only yourself that is going to be stopping you if you don't take action on it. They started from scratch as well. They started from zero, and you have to be willing to start from zero if that is something you want in your life. And that is a question you can ask yourself and be honest about. Like, is that something I'm willing to do? Am I willing to, sacrifice this other thing in order to make progress within this new thing? and just be honest. Like, what would you rather? Because there's always going to be excuses, but it's really just about what do you prioritize, right? And I truly believe that when we are inspired by someone about something that they do, it's because we have it within. It just maybe hasn't been unfolded yet. And it's just dying to be let out, freed. So please do yourself a favor and ask yourself that question, like journal on this and be honest with yourself. I also on my Instagram last week was talking about how I lie to myself a lot. And I think when I'm just in my head, I'm very good at lying. But when I put it down on paper, I can actually call myself out of the things I tell myself. I was about to swear, but I'm not going to do that on this podcast because that is not the vibe, I think. Okay. We're at number 7. And this is the easy one. If you wake up feeling go do a freaking badass, tough ass sprint or workout. Something where your heart gets so high that you feel like you cannot do anything else. Like that you're about to die. Like go push yourself so much that you just feel dead after. We all know the emotions that come up those times that we've done that. If you feel the easiest way to get outside of a is go push yourself physically, because that will affect your entire mood. It will help you see things clearer, and it will help you get the confidence to take action on those things that you right now may be fearful of, and telling yourself that, oh, you don't need to do that. When you show yourself, prove to yourself that you are so badass at AF physically, it just will impact you. And that's why I personally do my best to every day do something physically challenging, because I need that boost of confidence. I am not naturally a confident human, and I want to be, and that's why I take that seriously. Like I prioritize that. And I know I don't have kids. Like there are certain things that I don't have to, take care of. But regardless of how busy I ever get, that is something I'm going to prioritize. And I think we all have the ability to prioritize the things that are meaningful to us. Like, will we prioritize that hour of Netflix at night, or are we going to go to bed 1 hour earlier to then get up 1 hour earlier and get in that workout before the kids wake up or whatever? We all have different lives, different things that we have to pay attention to. So yeah, I really believe it's about prioritizing. And so doing something physically challenging, even if it's just like jump squats in your living room, like go for it. Jump squats, push-ups, burpees. Like those 3, you could do a 10-minute workout every morning, push yourself physically, and I promise you it will affect the rest of your day. It will. It just will. If you do that for a month and you come back and tell me it didn't affect your day, then I'll give you a box of I was about to say donuts, but we'll figure something out. I don't think you can prove me wrong, so it doesn't even matter. Okay, moving on. Oh yes, the last one is like kind of similar to a mix of the things that we've already talked about, but I just wanted to put it in there because maybe some of you can, like, that's something that resonates with you more so than the other 7 ideas. And that is, what was the goal that you set yourself on January 1st? Because I don't remember the exact data, but like most people do not follow through on that. And if you right now can remind yourself of what was it actually that you wanted to do this year, what was the thing that you wanted to get moving on? And if you, for some reason, have stopped yourself from doing that, stopped yourself from taking those action because at one point, your brain made you believe that it wasn't that important anymore. Your lazy brain made you feel like, oh, doing this other thing instead is more valuable for you. Then maybe you can remind yourself of this January 1st goal that you set yourself, and maybe you need to change some things about it. But I think there was a reason you set that for yourself, and you maybe just gave up on it because it felt too hard. And I can relate to that. I've given up on many things, and then sometimes I come back to it and I'm like, wait, I gave up on this because I was too lazy, or wait, I gave up on this because I believed that I wasn't capable of doing it. I thought it was so hard, and then I thought that the fact that it was so hard made me believe that I just was not the kind of person that was capable and able of doing that. But then when I go back to the goal and see it, and I think, okay, who has accomplished this, and how do they act? What do they do? And how can I do that too? Then it's suddenly like, oh, okay, I actually was just making up excuses. So if I get back on track, if it's important enough and I really get clear on why is it important, why do I need to do this for myself? How can it change and impact my life in a positive way? How can it impact other people's lives? Because, when we do something beautiful for ourselves, it usually will ripple effect in the people's lives that are around us or that we share with. Maybe that's the one that for you is like, oh yeah, I did set myself that goal in January and I kind of forgot about it. We still got time left. 2 months and 10 days, a lot can happen in 2 months and 10 days. So what if you were to just do this? I may actually, so right now I'm doing the October challenge and it's going so well. We're all working out really hard. We're getting on track on our nutrition and journaling every day, doing these different self-development things that are helping us feel really good and getting these habits and rituals into place that are just awesome. And the energy of this group is just on another level. And some of them have been asking if we're going to do it in November as well. And so we're playing around with the idea of doing another one in November. And the people in the group, I know, a lot of them had set this goal in January and then, they kind of forgotten about it, or maybe they didn't actually learn the tools that they needed to get these things into place. And now that they are doing this October challenge in this group with other like-minded individuals, that it's actually making them do it. There's something powerful about being in a group and doing it. So yeah, I'll keep you updated if we're doing the November challenge. You can check it out on my Instagram. I'm sure I'll post about it if we end up doing it. So yeah, but you don't need to even go on a challenge. You just need to make a commitment to yourself. And I think that those commitments, when we push ourselves to do these things that maybe we don't feel like doing because we're feeling meh, once we do, we are gonna naturally wake up with more excitement in the morning. And it's just so incredible, the power of our mind, and how I once thought that, okay, if I feel meh, then that's just how it is, and it's all these other people's faults, and it's because of this and that, because I didn't get this job that I wanted, it's because I didn't, whatever the reason I put myself. And now I'm like, oh wow, I am really truly responsible for making myself in a good state every day and understanding that I can. Isn't that just so cool that we can do that? And yes, of course we go through challenging times, but I actually had a rejection recently that we can talk about on another podcast. I'm not going to share too deeply, but right now, because we're getting at the end of the podcast episode. But rejection, it hurt a little bit. But what I've learned is that whenever I get rejected in a way that it's oh, that sucks, that I use that. So I'll go to the gym and I'll be getting it all out of my system, and what that does is it makes me even more excited to push through and work towards these things in life that I want. You can really use these rejections, these hard things that we all go through in life, as a strength, as a power, as a tool to push us towards taking action towards the things that we really deep down want in life. So really, if you're going through a challenging time right now, use it as fuel. And sometimes you need to go work out to get that out of you, to really feel the anger, feel the struggle, and just use it in your workout, and then use it as the power behind the new action steps that you're going to take towards this new life that you are ready and willing to create for yourself. I feel like this is a perfect place to stop this podcast. But before you leave, please write a review. Give me all the stars if you enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's totally cool too. Then I'm just gonna keep trying to get better. I just so appreciate you listening to this podcast. It makes me so happy that we're all here just trying to grow and evolve together. If you like this, please share it with a friend or on social media. That helps me grow. I'm still a very small podcast creator because it's this new thing that I'm trying to test out and do, and I really enjoy it. I love it. I love it so much. And other than that, just remember that in order for you to grow, you have to challenge your norm. Bye.